Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents, or Conversations LA, as I'm calling it. I'm excited to welcome model and actor Newton Mayenge to our program today. We're going to talk to Newton not only about his journey as he's been walking runways, but also pursuing his dream. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
It's time to shine, time to shine. So shine on. Ooh, shine on. It's time to shine. It's time to shine. Now's the moment you were created for. And if you feel it's right, come on, let's go. You're in control. So tell me what you want.
And we're here today with Cyrus Webb Presents in Los Angeles. I'm excited to welcome Newton Mayenge to our program today. And if the name sounds familiar, Newton was a guest for mine on Conversations Live, the radio show. This episode is actually being simulcasted for our podcast as well. I'm excited here in Los Angeles to talk to Newton, not only about the journey he's been on, but also what it's been like for him to share that with you. Newton, thank you so much for the time, man. Really appreciate it.
Cyrus, thank you for having me. I appreciate you.
Well, look, the first time we've actually met in person, but because of social media, we feel like we know each other already, right? I mean, it's kind of definitely kept us connected. Let's talk about this ride for you, Newton, especially this year. I mean, when we talked last, I mean, you were already, kind of experiencing a high because of everything that was going on. You've been doing a lot of runways lately, a lot of modeling. What has it been like for you to be able to set the goals you have, Newton, and then to be able to see them being able to become a reality?
First, I give it to God. I mean, that's the first and foremost thing.
Yeah.
I've set the goals, but if I don't put it in His hands, nothing's gonna, come to fruition.
Yeah.
But I've been very fortunate. I've gotten a lot. One thing I've always tried to do in any situation I get into, treat people with respect,
Sure.
and treat anyone the way I would want to be treated. And because of that, I've been, a lot of various opportunities that literally just been a blessing.
Yeah.
I've just been building and building. So I'm
Right.
pretty excited about it.
Well, there's a lot to be excited about. Now, you are a person who's been able to set goals all of your life. You and I talked about that on the radio show. And what's been so great for you is that not only have you been able to do it in different fields, but the passion has stayed the same. What is it that keeps you so passionate about life, and what's possible for you, Newton?
I always go back to, and it's crazy, I've touched on it briefly during our previous interview. My parents.
Yeah.
Every time there's an issue, or we all face some kind of obstacles. Every time there's an issue or any circumstance that may not be in my favor at that time, I remember my father and mother saying, "We brought you to this country for a reason. You don't have to worry about famine. You can eat. You can open up a refrigerator and you can eat.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about not having any lights. You turn your light switch on and it's on." So anytime something happens, I think about those conversations that I've had with them as a child, and it puts me in a different mindset, and I put it all in perspective, and I just keep pushing forward.
Right. And you've been able to push forward with a lot of confidence too. I mentioned you've been doing a lot of modeling, you've been doing a lot of runways. I mean, it takes a lot of confidence, right, to be in front of people and to be. I mean, what has it been like for you though to see that instant response? Because as you've been doing this, of course, you have people literally all around you. What is it like for you to see people responding to the work you're doing?
It feels very encouraging. I feel very grateful that people like what I'm doing. One of the biggest things in what I do throughout this journey is to try to have an inclusive scenario.
Sure.
To where people can be inspired themselves. It's not about just me. It's about the greater good. I have people behind me. I have kids behind me that are looking at me. They're asking me for advice, and especially with social media, you can get DMs all the time.
Right.
That's how you reached out to me.
Exactly.
I just try to be a person who can inspire.
Right.
And that's my whole goal. This whole journey is not about me. It's about uplifting everyone.
For sure. So I think that's an important thing. You mentioned family. I know family has been a big part of my journey as well, and the way I've been able to stay on track, keeping things in perspective. How does it feel though? You just referenced something, and that is, of course, you do have eyes on you. Not just that you meet in person, but people around the world because of social media. How does it feel to know that by just simply messaging someone back, by you responding, that could be able to change the way people see themselves and what they can do?
Well, it's a great feeling to have that capability to do that. I think we all had our role models growing up, and we would all have liked to have had just a time where we could touch them.
Yeah.
Just have a conversation with them, just for them to even wave at them,
Sure.
or wave at us. And because of the platform I have, I feel like it's my duty to do that.
Mm.
It's important. I mean, I've been in situations where I have role models who didn't wave back at me, and I would have wanted that attention.
Sure.
And just to say hello, to make me feel like, man, this person reached out to me.
Right.
So, but I've also had people who, who I've looked up to, who've also taken me under their wing as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just that giving back scenario. It's just very important to me.
Yeah.
People have been there to help me and push me along. I've got to do the same.
Yeah. And I think that's a great reminder for all of us. For those who are just tuning in, you're watching Cyrus Webb Presents, our Conversations LA. I'm here today with Newton Mayenge. We're talking to Newton not only about his journey as an actor and a model, but also what it's been like for him to do what he loves. So let's talk about how you began this chapter of your life, because this is not the first chapter of your professional life. Of course, sports, have been a very big part of your life. What led you to modeling and acting?
To be honest, when I couldn't play sports anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I was at the peak of my game. I was playing international basketball in Germany, doing very well out there. Got into a car accident prior to going into my up and coming season. Actually going to Barcelona, Spain to play, and it changed my world. It rocked my world, and I just okay, what am I going to do now? And I started doing various things. I did go back to school, went to law school, and did the MBA thing. Mm-hmm. Which was great information, and it was an opportunity for me to further myself from a personal perspective and corporate perspective.
Sure.
But when I took an acting class, well, first let me back up. As long as I've been in LA, people would always ask me, "Oh, you're an actor, you're a model," because everyone's actors and models out here for the most part. And after a while, you start to buy into it when you hear multiple people saying it.
Right.
So going back, I took an acting class. Tasha Smith, who's on Empire.
Oh, right.
Only acting class I've ever taken. Loved it. She gave me a different outset or outlook on, wow, this is something I can be just as passionate about, which is comparable to basketball. Yeah. So then I started doing the acting thing, taking classes, doing short films, working with various individuals, and then the modeling thing just kind of came along with it because people felt I had to build. So.
Right. So have you found that, I think this is so important, which is why I want to go back to what happened. And you shared that with me before for the radio audience. But the what next question, I think, is so important for our audience to think about, because maybe they found a setback in their journey. Mm-hmm. And maybe something happened and they start to question, their passion, their purpose, or if this is even something I should do. What do you tell people about the importance of thinking about the what's next instead of just giving up? Because some people just say, you know what, well, that's it. How important has it been for you to share with other people that there's always, as long as you're alive, there's always a what's next? And
you kind of just touched on it right now. As long as we wake up, we have an opportunity to change whatever our circumstances are. And it's hard. It's easy to give up. I mean, that's just the easiest thing to do. When you feel hopeless and you feel like, wow, I have nothing else I can do here. What I do is I look at what I don't want to do. And I start creating literally a checklist. I'll get literally a piece of paper and a pen. And I'll start, okay, what are possibilities? What are things I definitely don't want to do? I'll write those down. I'll also write, okay, what do I want to do? What do other people think that I should do? Because a lot of times peers, friends, family, they may see something in you that you necessarily didn't see in yourself either.
Sure.
Hence, the acting and modeling.
Right.
Everyone around me kept asking me that, so I had to look into it. But once again, it's all about doing a personal inventory on yourself and understanding that you're special and that you're worthy.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line. You could be a janitor, you could be a CEO of a company, and everything in between. You're special and you're worthy, and that's the main thing.
Yeah. It's a great reminder for all of us. So let's talk about the what's next, because as I said, you have a lot going on. Even during my visit here, you have some things that you're gearing up for. As you kind of look at that, what are some things you'd like to do next in your journey?
Well, I mean, from a modeling perspective, I am going to New York Fashion Week. That's in September, which I'm pretty excited.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much from the fashion perspective world, one of the top or the top in the U.S.
Sure.
I'll start branching off into the international scenes as well. The London Fashion Weeks, the Mercedes Fashion Week, which is in Australia.
Wow.
So those are the ones from a modeling perspective that I'm excited and looking forward to doing. But because this stuff has all happened in such a short amount of time.
Exactly.
but it's happening.
Right.
And those things are what I'm looking forward to. Now, from an acting perspective, I'm excited because I got a couple projects I can't really talk about yet, but I'm getting to work with some individuals who I've looked up to when I was growing up, and I'm pretty excited about those. I want to start not necessarily transitioning out of modeling, but transitioning out of acting, but kind of doing a lot more of that as well. Which I've had the opportunities, but the modeling is just taking precedence because it just keeps coming.
Right.
But I just want to balance the two.
Yeah. So a lot for us to be able to look forward to. So Newton, let our viewers know, how can they stay connected with you to kind of find out about the what's next?
So you can follow me on Instagram, which is like my biggest platform, and it's Newton, Newton. My last name Mayenge, Mayenge. You can also follow me on Facebook, same thing, Newton Mayenge. And I did want to mention one other thing too.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a charity thing that I'm working on. My girlfriend and I, we've kind of been working on some stuff. It's to go to the Congo, where my parents are from.
Okay.
And to go and do surgeries, bilateral eye surgeries for those who otherwise could not see.
Oh, wow.
And this is a project we're still working on. My father has a clinic in the Congo because he was a doctor there. Okay. And her father does eye surgeries in Michigan, so we're trying to collaborate. You guys will hear more about that soon, but I wanted to kind of start the conversation.
No, I appreciate that. And so make sure you're definitely staying connected with Newton, as he mentioned, on Instagram as well as on Facebook. We'll make sure to link it down below for those who are joining us online for the web series. Newton, really appreciate this opportunity to meet you, man. And we thank you, our viewers, for tuning into this segment of Cyrus Webb.
It's time to shine, time to shine.